Good morning. Welcome to the Travis County and City of Austin Joint Press Conference. My name is Hector Nieto, and I'm the Public Information Officer for Travis County. Today's press conference we will be discussing the extension of eviction moratoriums and the additional rental assistance services. Our speakers today include Travis County Judge Andy Brown, Austin Mayor Steve Adler, Travis County Commissioner for Precinct 3, Ann Howard, Austin City Council Member for District 4, Greg Kassar, Travis County Executive for Health and Human Services, Sherry Fleming, and Project Director for BASTA, Shoshana Krieger. These speakers will have a few remarks to make. After the remarks, I will then open it up for press. We will do our best to accommodate everyone's questions, and then I will call last question. Judge Brown, if you'd like to kick us off, please.
Thanks, Hector, and good morning, everybody. I'm Travis County Judge Andy Brown, and so happy to have here with me Mayor Steve Adler, Commissioner Ann Howard, Councilmember Greg Kassar, our Health and Human Services Director Sherry Fleming, and Building and Strengthening Tenant Action, BASTA Project Director Shoshana Krieger. And we're gathered to talk about our new eviction moratorium order and provide an update on rental assistance for people within Travis County and the City of Austin. I'm proud to announce that Travis County is going to continue vital protections that keep tenants and our community safer throughout the COVID pandemic by extending our Travis County and City of Austin moratorium orders until April 1st, 2021. Since the start of the pandemic, in coordination and collaboration with the City of Austin, Travis County has issued this eviction moratorium order. This is the most effective means to promote public health and economic welfare during this ongoing global pandemic, both because keeping people inside and housed curbs the spread of the virus, and because ensuring housing stability contributes to job retention and it strengthens local economies. Travis County has the fewest number of pandemic-related evictions and the least amount of COVID-19 related deaths among the big cities in Texas. And I know that's in large part because our community's access to housing has maintained. Our county is also receiving funds from the Federal Emergency Rental Assistance Program to assist households that are unable to pay rent and utilities due to the pandemic, as well as assisting landlords who own those homes. Health and Human Services Director Sherry Fleming is going to talk about that briefly in just a little bit. I'm going to say a brief version of this in Spanish before handing it over to Mayor Adler. Hoy estamos aquí para anunciar la extensión de nuestras órdenes de moratoria de desalojo del condado de Travis y la ciudad de Austin hasta el 1 de abril de este año. Desde el comienzo de la pandemia, el condado de Travis y la ciudad de Austin han puesto en marcha estas órdenes de moratoria de desalojo local. Tener acceso a una vivienda confiable es la mejor manera de frenar la propagación del COVID-19. Nuestro condado también va a recibir fondos del gobierno federal para ayudar a los hogares que no pueden pagar el alquiler y los servicios públicos debido a la pandemia. Los hogares elegibles podrán recibir hasta 12 meses de asistencia más 3 meses adicionales. Trabajaremos para que estos fondos estén en manos de las personas pronto. And now I will pass it over to Austin Mayor Steve Adler. Thank you.
Judge Brown, continues to be honored to be able to work with you on this virus response. You know, as I look around the state and other communities, I'm not sure through this whole pandemic that there's been an area that's had a closer working relationship between the county judge and municipal leadership, and you have joined and immediately become such an invaluable part of the team, and I appreciate your leadership. Today, Judge Brown and I both extend the local eviction protections that were first put in place back in March. In doing so, we are joining with President Biden and his commitment and his orders to extend eviction protections nationally in the interest of public health. The orders that we're entering today extend the protections until April 1st, 2021, which is the same time period that you'll see the eviction protections being extended at the federal level. You know, since March, and it's been almost a year now, our response to this virus has been driven by the priority of saving lives. As Judge Brown said, here in Austin, Travis County, we have one of the lowest mortality rates in the country. And that's been the result of numerous decisions and choices that we have made as a community since March. One of the key elements of that has been the eviction protections that we put in place here. We had our eviction protections put in place back in March, making it one of the earliest in the country to move in that direction, and it's been in force ever since that time. We know that if we can keep as many people as possible in their homes, in a home, then we have a better chance of saving lives. We're going to continue to find ways such as rental relief funding to help keep Austinites safe in their homes and working to ease the financial burden on landlords. With the help of dozens of nonprofit partners, including the Housing Authority of the City of Austin, we have given almost $13 million in rent relief to 4,300 Austin families that were hurting from this pandemic, this virus. These dollars have kept thousands of Austinites safe in their homes during this virus, eased the economic burden on both tenants and landlords, and enables our local economy to continue. The money is paid to landlords on behalf of the tenants, so it provides not only protection to tenants, keeping them in their homes, but helps ensure that landlords continue to receive rent. We're looking for further and even better ways to protect landlords in the community, and as we get more funding from the federal government, which is anticipated and expected, although we urge everybody to continue to lobby the federal government as we are to make sure that that happens, we're going to see that continue. This is the kind of compassionate and smart choices that we are making here in Central Texas and helps make us so resilient. I will conclude by repeating that we call on the state and federal government to help us make additional relief available so that we can continue to save lives and protect our local economy. And with that, I will turn the speaker position here to Commissioner Ann Howard, also someone that is one of the new leaders in our region and also hitting the ground running. Commissioner Howard, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Judge Brown. As both of you have said, you know, preventing evictions saves lives. It prevents homelessness. It promotes academic success for children. It helps with job stability. It's the right thing to do. And we know that our landlords and property owners are struggling to pay their mortgages, to pay their employees, to pay utilities. But we'll keep the pressure on with the state and the feds to make sure that there's billions of dollars coming, I think, to the country from the Treasury Department to work on, more rental assistance and help to landlords and property owners. And we are aware they need the help. But when we prevent eviction, we save lives. People can stay healthy in their homes. Kids can do their homework and try to be successful with remote learning. And so we've got to continue this. It's the right thing to do. This money will stretch from San Leona to Lago Vista. And we know it's not enough, but the collaboration, the partnership you see between the city and the county is going to, we're working really hard together to make this money work and to show us how future dollars can also best be spent to keep people home, to keep them safe, and to keep the economy going. So I thank all of you who've been working so hard on this issue, and I appreciate some of our partners at the state who are helping get this money out, have worked at ECHO, have worked for Travis County, and the partnership is strong. So let's keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it over to Councilmember Greg Kassar.
Thanks, Commissioner. Good morning. I'm so appreciative of the leadership of Judge Brown, the mayor, and everyone at the city and county in the COVID-19 crisis, and especially in making sure that no one loses their home because of the pandemic. A recent study showed that, and a recent study estimated that about 4,500 Texans died needlessly because of the lack of eviction protections in our state. But we've done things differently here in Austin and in Travis County. Since the beginning of the pandemic, according to Princeton, about 12,000 evictions have been filed in Fort Worth, 22,000 in Houston, 23,000 in Phoenix, but around 800 only in Travis County. That means 15 times more evictions have been filed in Fort Worth than here, 25 times more evictions have been filed in Houston. That's a shame. That should change in those cities, but I think it also is a testament to the priority our entire community has placed and our leadership on making sure that people don't lose their home in the pandemic, and that we prioritize public health over politics, and that we're willing to do the hard work necessary to take care of everyone in the community, especially those who are most vulnerable at this critical time. So I believe that everyone here is united around three essential steps. One, extending the moratorium that's being announced today. And as the city council, we also have an ordinance that protects tenants that we will extend. Two, expanding rental assistance that supports both renters and property owners. And three, establishing a plan so that as we come out on the other side of this pandemic, and we must come out on the other side, that we come out on the other side in a way that back rent is taken care of, and that property owners and renters can get back to some level of stability. And that, I think that three-part plan really unites everyone here on the call. And I'm just so appreciative of the leadership that we have to continue to show to make sure that we continue to reduce the spread of COVID-19, continue to be amongst the lowest in the country on deaths and on evictions per capita. Thank you.
Thanks, and we'll turn it over to Sherry Fleming, who runs Health and Human Services here at Travis County.
Sorry for not passing it on over to you. I wanted to leave that to Judge Brown.
Thank you, Council Member. Thank you, Judge Brown. It's my pleasure to be here today. Since the onset of the pandemic in March 2020 through January 26th of this year, Travis County has provided financial assistance totaling over $13 million, which includes more than $7.5 million or 10,489 payments in rent and mortgage assistance to nearly 6,000 households comprised of more than 13,500 people. Travis County is excited to report that we've received more than $10 million in funding from the Emergency Rental Assistance Program for coronavirus relief funds. That funding will allow us to engage with landlords earlier in the eligibility process, a component that we're very excited about, but from our perspective, we haven't actually done that before. So we're working with county departments and consultants employed by Travis County to design programming that includes this much needed component. So we will be excited to get this money out to the community as soon as possible. With that, I will pass on to Shoshana Krieger, BASTA Project Director.
Thanks so much, Sherry, and it's a pleasure being here today. I'm the project director of BASTA, Building and Strengthening Tenant Action, and BASTA supports, educates, and organizes Austin renters to improve conditions in their homes and in their communities. BASTA is part of the Eviction Solidarity Network, which is a coalition of 6 organizations that aim to provide support and solidarity to people facing the threat of eviction and reduce the number of people being evicted from their homes. Eviction, whether in a pandemic or not, is an inherently violent act that traumatizes and destabilizes families and communities. Eviction in this moment is a particularly brutal act that results in death. And so our message of ESN during this pandemic has been that eviction is not a cure. As Councilmember Kazar mentioned, a recent study by Johns Hopkins, UCLA, and other universities found that the lifting of the Texas moratorium statewide resulted in an additional 4,500 COVID-19 deaths. Few of these deaths, though, are likely to have been in Austin and Travis County because of the policies and the leadership of our city and of our county. And the policies that they have enacted, such as the notice to vacate prohibitions that are being extended today, recognize that an eviction is not a cure. These policies have saved lives and kept families housed. They've given additional time for families to be able to connect with social safety net programs, which oftentimes are very difficult to connect with, so that they're able to catch up on rent or to have the time to plan safe moves. The folks who BASA works with are primarily people of color and are already populations that are the most vulnerable to COVID-19. Many working essential jobs, many not having the luxury to work from home, and others who have been out of work because of reduced hours.
that even finding another tenant who can suddenly clear those weeks of, or months of back rent does not solve that landlord's issue either. That's why all three of those strategies, extension of the moratorium, expansion of rental assistance, and establishing a plan that clears back rents and keeps people from being evicted, is the three-part strategy that we're establishing for this year.
We're also working through the nuances and trying to learn from best practices in this area, because this is a common challenge that's faced across the entire country. One of the issues that we have locally is that the rental assistance is given to landlords in order to pay the rent on behalf of tenants. But there are some landlords that are not able to apply for the program because of the delivery system that we've used. So we continue to look at how we make the actual delivery system and the allocation system work better in the city, and those kinds of discussions and efforts are ongoing. We have approached this challenge from the very beginning in terms of how we save lives, but also do as best we can, not only the least economic disruption, but keeping the economic system in our community moving forward. And that includes both keeping people in their homes and also trying to help economically the families of both landlords and tenants.
Great. Nate, let's take the next caller, CBS. If you want to hang on the line, we may have time for additional follow-up questions.
Thank you, Hector. We will next go to Audrey McGlinchey, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, with KUT Radio. Audrey, you are now unmuted and may go ahead.
Hi, y'all. Yeah, this might have been covered, but I'm trying to listen on the phone and on the computer, and there's a significant delay, so forgive me if I miss this. Can y'all explain to me how much the county and the city will be getting from that $25 billion in federal rent relief, and then when that money is going to be made available for renters to apply for?
Thanks, Audrey. I will let Sherry, if you can talk about the exact dollar amounts, if you know that. I think it's around 10, I'm not even going to guess. But what we are doing today is announcing that we have received that amount of money, and we along with the city, are working on the process by which we can get it out to people as soon as possible. But Sherry, are you able to comment on the exact dollar amounts?
Yes, sir. And the judge is right. You know, we're still sort of working through that, but it looks like $10.7 million is what has been awarded to Travis County in this last round of rental assistance. And I'm sorry, I lost the other part of the question.
The city, and maybe Mayor or council member could talk about the dollar amount there.
And I don't know the answer to that question, but we could certainly follow up and get that to you.
I think it's around, I believe it's around 25 million, I think is my understanding, around 10 for the county and I think around 5 for the city.
And Judge, my understanding is that the state is receiving over like $1.something billion in the next round to help with rental assistance. And that within a couple of months, they hope to have that money flowing out to the community.
Audrey, does that get at your question?
Sorry about that. I had muted the line. I will unmute to see if Audrey has any further questions.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yes, that does. So no one as of this point has an estimate on when that money will be available for people to apply for?
No, not today. Today we've announced that we've gotten the money. We are keeping the moratorium on evictions through April 1st. And then we are working along with the city and county staff to develop a process to get the money out that we've received from the federal government as quickly as possible.
Great, thank you. Nate, can you screen the next caller and let them in afterwards?
Absolutely. Thank you. Just give us one moment while we screen.
And as far as the city dollars, I'm getting confirmation here in the next minute or so. So I'll be able to give you an exact figure.
Thank you, council member.
I believe it's 28 million for the city. Maybe rounding up though.
Yeah, just under 30 million is the dollar figure. So that's program. So combined, you're talking about $40 million program. Also, something that was implied but not said, probably worth stating here. We deeply appreciate the federal government's assistance with this rental assistance money. We also deeply appreciate the extension of the eviction moratorium, CDC moratorium by the federal administration. But that federal moratorium is not enough. The local moratoriums are critical, as you can see from the numbers. And there were federal moratoriums at the time, but those federal measures are clearly not enough to actually stop eviction violence. And so it's the only way this works is when the local governments are distributing rental assistance, the local governments are extending eviction moratoriums, and the federal government is doing its part on those two things as well.
Great. With that, we'll see. CBS, do you have any follow-up questions? Nate, can you?
Back live, Brittany Ford with CBS. Brittany, you may go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I did have one more question. I think this is really good for the public and people in this type of situations. What do they do if they do have a landlord that's evicting them? I think there's been a lot of confusion. Do I call 311? Do I call APD? Boss, that might be a question for you, but I know when we've done these stories with some of these people and even got news tips in our inbox of people saying that they're still facing eviction and being forced out of their home or getting, notes despite this. I guess for someone in that position, what do they do?
Sure. So it depends on the precise what is happening. If it's a notice to vacate, which is in violation of these orders, if they're in the city of Austin, they can call 311. And in Travis County, I believe it's calling the fire marshal. And then they will investigate and follow. They should be following up with the landlords looking at the notices. They also can go to, we have a website, evictionisnotacure.com, which has both know your rights information for tenants and also resource guides. And that goes through all of the different protections because it can be pretty confusing. We have the city ordinance, which gives tenants time to repay their rent. We have these notice to vacate prohibitions. And then there are some also, the local JP courts also have a partial moratoria on hearing cases. So tenants can go to that website to get a lay of the land to see what protections apply to them.
Great, thank you for that. Nate, let's check with KUT to see if they have any additional follow-up.
Perfect. Audrey with KUT, you may go ahead.
Yeah, I just had two last things. Councilmember Kassar, do you have an exact number? You said just under 30 million. Can you provide an exact number?
As soon as those words came out of my mouth, I texted and said, "Can you please get me the more exact number?" And so we will. If this closes beforehand, my staff will send you the exact number. I'm sorry, but just under 30 million is the word from the housing department.
And I think too, Gene also in my office is trying to get that number as well. So one of us will get that number to you here pretty quick.
And as far as when things are being dispersed, that should be announced shortly. My understanding is there is a meeting this morning to set the date as soon as possible.
Okay. And then my last question was just regarding late fees. I know that these bans don't include a ban on late fees. Was that ever a discussion as to whether to include that or not?
At this point, what we've done is we have stopped someone from being able to be evicted for the accrual of rent or fees. I'm not sure we have the ability to forgive the contractual obligation. I'm not sure we can ban that. And I think that's why we have drafted the things that we have the way that we have.
There are, however, state law provisions around illegally excess late fees, and we've fielded some comment, sometimes people being given illegally excess amounts of late fees in order to try to get around the eviction ban. Again, if those sorts of issues arise, one, we ask everyone to follow the law and to be to work together with their tenants. And then second, the issues that Ms. Krieger raised should apply there too, to be able to make sure to reach out to your local elected officials, to code enforcement, to organizations like BASTA, if someone's in that situation.
Great, thank you all. That concludes all our callers for right now.
We got the number, Hector. Sorry.
No, go ahead, council member.
It is $29,578,000. And it's actually $29,578,000, $578,788.20. But for KUT's purposes, I imagine that is $29.5 million.
And
Great.
Sherry, and ours was 10.7. Sherry?
Yes, sir. And probably very similar situation to the city. It's likely somewhere between 10.6 and 10.7. And I don't have that very detailed number that he just shared. So I think we're settled on 10.7.
Thank you.
Thank you again to all participants. This now concludes the joint press conference with Travis County and the City of Austin. Members of the press, if you have any follow-up questions or need additional information, please feel free to reach out to me, Hector Nieto, Public Information Officer, at pio@traviscountytx.gov. Thank you, and this ends our press conference.
Thanks, everybody.